The numbers glowed accusingly on my dual monitors, burning my tired eyes in the dim light of my office. $300,000. I blinked, but the figure remained unchanged on my data visualization dashboard. $300,000 had vanished from the Foundation's accounts over the past year, and my advanced analytics software had just confirmed my worst suspicions. The digital trail led straight to my mother. I'm Evelyn, and I've built my career on being the methodical one, the analytical one, the one who follows data and logic, while my stepsister Mackenzie dazzled at galas and charity events. While she perfected her public speaking, I earned my MBA and mastered predictive analytics. I didn't mind the contrast. I loved working with data, finding patterns others missed. But tonight, those patterns had revealed something I wished I'd never seen. Still burning the midnight oil? Nathan's voice made me jump. He stood in my office doorway, his biodegradable coffee cup steaming in the LED light. It's almost midnight, Evelyn. Whatever algorithm you're running can wait until morning. I shook my head, my fingers trembling as I turned one of my monitors toward him. Look at this visualization. The Foundation's quarterly reports don't match the bank statements. Someone's been systematically siphoning money from the research grants. I built a machine learning model to detect financial anomalies, and my voice cracked. The signatures, the approval stamps, they all lead back to the Foundation's board treasurer. Your mother, Nathan finished, setting his coffee down and leaning closer to examine my analysis. The same mother who spent 20 years reminding me I wasn't as naturally gifted as Mackenzie, I said bitterly. The same woman who turned every one of my academic achievements into a conversation about my stepsister's latest modeling campaign or charity event. My phone buzzed with a notification. Speaking of the devil, a message from Mackenzie, Mom's going crazy planning next month's gala. Says you have to come this time, no excuses. Nathan squeezed my shoulder, his eyes still fixed on the data streams flowing across my screen. What are you going to do? I closed my analytics dashboard, my decision crystallizing like a perfectly structured database. I'm going to that gala, I said, but not for the reasons they think. I arrived at the Foundation's offices earlier than usual, my laptop bag heavy with the encrypted backup drives I'd prepared. Victoria's assistant, Hazel, was already at her desk organizing the day's schedule. Her dual monitors displayed a complex array of calendar appointments and email threads. Evelyn, what brings you to the administrative floor? Hazel's smile was genuine. She'd always treated me with kindness, appreciating my help with her database management issues. Just needed to drop off some data analysis reports, I lied smoothly, patting my laptop bag. Is my mother in? She's meeting with Caleb, Mackenzie's fiancé. Something about the gala sponsorships and digital marketing strategy. Perfect. I slipped into my mother's empty office, my heart pounding as I connected my specialized USB drive to her computer. The encryption software I'd developed would give me remote access to her files, leaving no trace in the system logs. What exactly are we looking for in all this data? Nathan asked later that afternoon as we combed through the downloaded files in my private office. The screens around us displayed multiple data streams and analysis windows. Patterns. Transactions. Anomalies that show. I stopped, staring at a new email thread I'd decoded. Here, look at this visualization. Correspondence with Caleb's investment firm. They're using the gala's digital payment system to launder money through fake charitable donations. Nathan whistled low. Your mother and future brother-in-law are quite the team, while Mackenzie plays the perfect social media influencer, completely unaware she's being used as their digital front. The bitterness in my voice surprised even me. My phone lit up with my mother's caller ID. I answered, keeping my voice steady. Darling, I need you at the dress fitting tomorrow. Mackenzie's chosen the most stunning gown for the gala's live stream, and we simply must find you something appropriate. I could hear the implied criticism inappropriate, meaning understated, forgettable, nothing that would overshadow her golden child's Instagram presence. Of course, Mother, I replied, watching another suspicious transaction pattern emerge on my screen. I wouldn't miss it. After hanging up, I turned to Nathan, who was still analyzing the data streams. I've spent my whole life being the good daughter, the quiet one, the one who never caused trouble. But they crossed a line. This money was meant for medical research, for helping people. What's your plan? Nathan asked, pulling up the gala's digital guest list on his tablet: board members, donors, press, social media influencers. The perfect audience, don't you think? Mother always taught us that presentation is everything. Nathan's eyes widened as he realized what I was suggesting. Evelyn, this could destroy your family. I thought about the patients waiting for the research grants that never came, about the scientists whose projects were shelved because the funding mysteriously dried up. I thought about years of being made to feel less than, of watching my mother's casual corruption hiding behind Mackenzie's perfect social media presence. No, I said, my voice stronger than I'd ever heard it, my fingers flying across the keyboard as I began compiling my evidence into an unassailable digital presentation. This will free my family. They just don't know it yet. I started gathering the evidence into a digital dossier, my hand steady as I encrypted file after file. The gala was in 3 weeks, just enough time to ensure every data point was verified, every transaction traceable. Mother always said I had a talent for detailed analysis. Time to show her just how right she was. These donation records are full of inconsistencies, Nathan said, spreading multiple screens worth of data across my office monitors. Look at this pattern: $500,000 from a company that doesn't even exist in any public database. I leaned closer, scanning the algorithmic analysis. The past week had been a blur of late nights and coffee-fueled data mining sessions. Shell companies, I confirmed, running another pattern recognition scan. They're all shell companies, aren't they? Your mother's digital footprint is clever, I'll give her that. Nathan pulled up another spreadsheet. But she made one mistake. She got greedy with the metadata. A knock at my office door made us both jump. Mackenzie stood there, looking perfectly put together as always in her designer outfit, ready for her next Instagram story. Surprise! I brought lunch. I scrambled to minimize windows while Nathan casually switched my monitors to a default analytics dashboard. Mackenzie set down a paper bag from my favorite deli, her expression curious. Am I interrupting something? You two look like teenagers caught downloading movies illegally. Her laugh was light, but her eyes were sharp. Just boring data analysis stuff, I said quickly, trying to sound casual. What brings you here? Can't a sister bring lunch without an ulterior motive? She perched on the edge of my desk, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming against the glass surface. Although Victoria's driving me crazy with this gala planning. The social media campaign alone is exhausting. Nathan cleared his throat. I should get back to my department. After he left, Mackenzie's carefully maintained influencer smile faltered. Caleb's been acting weird lately, she confided, lowering her voice. Secretive, always on encrypted calls with Mother. My heart skipped a beat. Oh, I mean, I know they're working on gala stuff, but... She shrugged, trying to look nonchalant. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a prop in their perfect digital narrative. For the first time, I really looked at my stepsister. Behind the flawless makeup and practiced Instagram smile, I saw something familiar, the same trapped feeling I'd been fighting all these years. Mackenzie, I started, but my phone buzzed, a text from Hazel. Your mother's looking for the Foundation's digital audit logs. Says you have access. I should go. Mackenzie stood up, smoothing her dress. Photo shoot for the gala's social media campaign. Mother insists on capturing the perfect family moment. She rolled her eyes. After she left, I called Nathan. We need to move faster. Mother's looking for the audit logs. Already on it. Meet me at the coffee house in 20 minutes. I've found something in the blockchain transactions. The cafe was busy enough to mask our conversation, its ambient noise providing perfect cover. Nathan slid an encrypted USB drive across the table. I traced the shell companies through their digital footprint. They all lead back to Caleb's investment firm. But here's where it gets interesting. The money is being routed through a complex network of cryptocurrency transactions. Classic. I took a sip of my Americano, my mind already mapping the data flow. But why? Mother's salary is more than generous. That's not all. Nathan lowered his voice, pulling up a secure messaging thread on his tablet. I found encrypted communications between your mother and Caleb discussing something called Project Legacy. They're planning to announce it at the gala's live stream. My phone lit up with a message from Mother. Darling, don't forget dress fitting tomorrow, 10 a.m. And please do something with your hair this time. The photographers will be there. I ignored it. What's Project Legacy? From what I can piece together from the metadata, Nathan said, showing me his analysis, they're planning to restructure the foundation, move all research funding to approved projects only, meaning projects that funnel money back to them through their cryptocurrency network. The realization hit me like a corrupted database crashing. They're not just stealing from existing grants, they're setting up a permanent digital pipeline, using Mackenzie's social media influence as cover. The perfect charitable face for their blockchain scheme, Nathan added. I thought about Mackenzie's earlier words about feeling like a prop in their digital narrative. She has no idea, does she? Speaking of no idea, Nathan nodded toward the cafe entrance. Caleb had just walked in with my mother, both absorbed in their tablets. We ducked behind our laptops, but they were too engrossed in their screens to notice us. They sat at a table near enough that snippets of their discussion drifted over. The announcement will be perfect, my mother was saying, tapping her tablet emphatically. Mackenzie on stage, presenting our vision for the Foundation's digital future. And the old guard won't know what hit them. Caleb replied with a smirk, his fingers flying over his phone's keyboard. I felt sick to my stomach. They were going to use Mackenzie to announce their own corrupt scheme, making her an unwitting accomplice in their digital fraud. Back in my office, I pulled up the gala preparations folder on my encrypted drive. Mother had already scripted everything, the speeches, the photo ops, even the exact moment Mackenzie would announce Project Legacy to their live stream audience. We can't let this happen, I told Nathan over our secure chat that evening. They're not just stealing money anymore, they're trying to legitimize their corruption through blockchain technology. What's our next move? I stared at the gala's digital invitation on my screen, featuring Mackenzie's perfectly filtered smile. We need to talk to Hazel. She handles all the Foundation's digital correspondence. She must have access to something we've missed. That's risky, Nathan warned through our encrypted video call. She's your mother's right hand in all their digital operations. True, I picked up my tablet, studying the invitation's QR code. But Hazel's always had a soft spot for me, and more importantly, she believes in what the Foundation is supposed to stand for. Be careful, Evelyn. The closer we get to the gala, the more vulnerable our digital trail becomes. I thought about Mackenzie, about all the researchers counting on these grants, about years of watching my mother's casual corruption destroy everything she touched, all hidden behind a perfect digital facade. Some things are worth the risk. Hazel's hands shook as she transferred the files to my secure drive. I always knew something wasn't right with the network traffic, but this. She glanced nervously at my mother's empty office across the hall, its glass walls reflecting the blue light from our screens. If she traces this back to me. She won't, I assured her quickly, my software already encrypting and copying each document. The security logs won't show any trace. You're doing the right thing. The Foundation's board meeting minutes, Hazel whispered, bringing up more files. Victoria's been doctoring them for months. The real versions are very different from what she's been uploading to the cloud. A door slammed somewhere down the hall. Hazel jumped, quickly closing windows. Go now. I slipped out just as Caleb's voice echoed through the corridor. Victoria, we need to discuss the live stream announcement. I ducked into the stairwell, pressing myself against the wall as their voices drifted down. Everything's arranged, my mother said, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Once Project Legacy is announced, the board won't have a choice. The press will be there, the major donors, all our social media followers, and Mackenzie. She'll do exactly what she's told. She always does. Their footsteps faded toward the executive suite. I waited until the coast was clear, then rushed to Nathan's tech lab. You look like you've seen a ghost, he said, pulling me inside. Better. I connected my secure drive to his workstation. Hazel came through. Look at these meeting minutes. Mother's been systematically falsifying the board's digital records about where the money's going. Nathan scrolled through the files, his eyes widening. This is huge, Evelyn. With this evidence. The lab door burst open. Mackenzie stood there, mascara streaking her usually perfect face. I need to talk to you. Nathan and I exchanged panicked looks. How much had she discovered? Caleb's cheating on me, Mackenzie blurted out. Not what I was expecting. What? How do you know? I found messages on his cloud backup, she collapsed into a chair. But it's worse than that. He's been having encrypted video calls with Mother almost every day, planning something big, something about the Foundation. Nathan caught my eye. He nodded slightly. Mackenzie, I said carefully, what do you know about Project Legacy? Her perfectly plucked eyebrows drew together. The new digital initiative? Mother says I'm announcing it at the gala live stream. Some kind of blockchain integration to make the Foundation more efficient. She paused. Why? Because it's all fake. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. The whole thing is a front for digital money laundering. Mother and Caleb have been stealing from research grants, and they're planning to use your social media influence to make it all look legitimate. Mackenzie stared at me, then laughed shakily. That's ridiculous. Mother would never. I mean, she's always been obsessed with our online presence, but... Look. I pulled up the evidence on my secure workstation. These are the real numbers, the shell companies, the cryptocurrency transactions. As Mackenzie read, her face transformed from disbelief to horror to anger. All those times they were planning the gala's social media strategy together. Nathan said gently, they were actually planning this. They're going to have you announce it during the live stream, make you the face of their scheme. Mackenzie stood up abruptly, pacing the lab. I always knew Mother was controlling, but this, using my Instagram following to steal from sick people. She whirled to face me. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Would you have believed me? I asked quietly. Over Mother's perfectly crafted narrative? She stopped pacing. No. Probably not. A bitter laugh escaped her. God, I've been so stupid. The perfect daughter, doing exactly what she's told, posting exactly what she's told to post. My phone buzzed, a text from Hazel. Victoria's looking for the original digital records. She knows something's wrong. We need to move fast, I told them. Mother suspects someone's breached her security. What are you planning to do? Mackenzie asked. Expose everything at the gala's live stream. You'll destroy her online empire. She destroyed herself. I hesitated, but I can't do it alone. I need your help. Mackenzie was quiet for a long moment, twisting her engagement ring around her finger. Finally, she pulled it off and set it on Nathan's desk with a decisive click. Count me in. Her voice was steel. Nobody uses my social media presence as a prop in their corruption scheme. Not even Mother. Nathan cleared his throat. Not to interrupt this touching sister moment, but we have another problem. Look at this email chain I just decrypted. We crowded around his workstation. Mother had sent instructions to the Foundation's IT department to perform a complete system wipe, scheduled for the day before the gala. She's scrubbing her digital footprint, I said, my analyst's mind already calculating countermeasures. Then we better make sure we have everything backed up before she does. Mackenzie pulled out her phone. I know Mother's passwords, all of them. She made me memorize them in case we ever needed emergency access to the Foundation's social media accounts. For the first time since this began, I felt real hope. Together, we might actually pull this off. The gala's in 2 weeks, Nathan reminded us. Mackenzie's smile was fierce. Perfect. Just enough time to plan our own little viral moment. Smile, darling. You look like you're at a funeral. Mother adjusted my dress for the 10th time as the boutique seamstress pinned the hem. The gala's live stream is a celebration, not a wake. If she only knew. I forced a smile, catching Mackenzie's eye in the mirror. My stepsister was perched on a velvet settee, pretending to scroll through Instagram while actually recording every word through her phone's hidden audio app. The press will be there, Mother continued, fussing with my hair, the governor, key donors, top influencers. Everything must be perfect for our social media coverage. She turned to Mackenzie. Darling, have you memorized your speech for the Project Legacy announcement? Every word, Mother. Mackenzie's voice was honey-sweet. Though I was thinking of adding my own personal touch to the live stream. Mother's smile tightened. Stick to the script, dear. This isn't the time for improvisation. The seamstress finished her work, and Mother swept out to take a video call, leaving Mackenzie and me alone in the fitting room. Did you get that? I whispered. Mackenzie played back the recording. Mother's voice rang clear. The governor's office has already approved the digital restructuring. Once the announcement goes live, it's a done deal. Another piece of evidence, I stepped down from the platform, careful of the pins. How are things with Caleb? He's suspicious, keeps checking my phone when he thinks I'm not looking. She lowered her voice. Last night, I found him trying to access my cloud backup. Did he find anything? Please, she rolled her eyes. I learned from the best. Mother taught me everything about keeping digital secrets. Her smile turned bitter. Ironic, isn't it? The boutique door chimed its digital welcome tone. Nathan walked in, pretending to be lost. Sir, this is a private fitting, the saleswoman began. Oh, Nathan. Mackenzie called out. Right on time to help with our social media content. Mother returned just then, ending her video call, her face darkening at the sight of him. What is he doing here? I invited him, Mackenzie said smoothly. We need a tech-savvy eye for the livestream aesthetics, don't we? And since Caleb's so busy with foundation work. Mother's expression shifted from annoyance to satisfaction. Of course, dear. Though perhaps someone more qualified. Actually, Nathan interrupted, I came to discuss the latest data analytics reports with Evelyn. Time-sensitive matters. Work, Mother sighed, checking her smartphone. Evelyn, dear, you really must learn to separate your professional and personal life. The gala's digital launch is in 10 days. I know, Mother, I replied, my own phone silently backing up another set of incriminating files. Everything will be perfect. After Mother left to berate the saleswoman about lighting options, Nathan pulled out his tablet. Hazel sent another encrypted file. Look what she found in the Foundation's archived cloud storage. I looked at the screen, my breath catching. There it was, the original proposal for Project Legacy, dated 2 years ago. But instead of a charitable initiative, it outlined a complex scheme to redirect research funds through cryptocurrency transactions. Mother's been planning this digital heist for years, Mackenzie whispered, reading over my shoulder. There's more, Nathan said. Caleb's firm isn't just managing the money. They're creating fake AI-generated research projects to justify the funding transfers. The boutique door chimed again. Caleb walked in. Hide the screens, I hissed. Mackenzie immediately draped herself on Caleb's arm, playing the adoring fiancé. Darling, what a surprise. We were just discussing the gala's social media strategy, weren't we? Caleb's eyes flickered between our hastily darkened devices. He nodded toward Nathan. Digital marketing emergency, Nathan said dryly. Apparently, I have an eye for viral content. Mackenzie took Caleb aside, but their voices carried clearly in the boutique's perfect acoustics. Your mother's worried, Caleb said, his voice tight. Says you've been accessing unusual areas of the network. I'm just trying to understand my role better, Mackenzie replied, her influencer smile firmly in place. For the announcement. Stick to the script, the same words Mother had used. There's too much at stake. After they left, Nathan turned to me. They're getting nervous about their digital security. Good. I checked my phone, a new message from Hazel. Your mother just called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow. Something about cybersecurity concerns. She's moving faster than our analytics predicted, Nathan said. We need to be ready. I looked at my reflection in my darkened monitor screen, the perfect daughter in the perfect dress for the perfect digital gala. Mother had spent years crafting this image, using both Mackenzie and me as pieces in her elaborate online game. Evelyn, Nathan touched my arm, his screen still displaying lines of encrypted data. Are you sure about this? Once we release this information into the digital sphere, there's no going back. I'm sure, I said, closing the final encryption protocol. Mother always taught us that online presentation is everything. Time to show her just how well we'd learned that lesson. The board meeting tomorrow, he said, running a final security check. If she's implementing the system purge I think she is, we need our countermeasures in place. I picked up my phone to text Mackenzie through our secure messaging app. Tell Caleb you're spending the night reviewing your social media strategy. Meet us at my place at 8. The response came immediately, I'll bring wine. We're going to need it. The pieces of our digital puzzle were in place. Now we just had to survive the next 10 days. The board meeting was a disaster, Hazel whispered through our encrypted video call. I had her on my secure tablet as Mackenzie, Nathan, and I huddled around my home office desk. Victoria's convinced there's been a security breach. She's ordered a complete system lockdown. Can you still access the network? I asked, watching Nathan run his decryption algorithms on my spare monitors. No, but... Hazel lowered her voice further, glancing over her shoulder. I made backups. Everything. I'll upload them to your secure cloud storage. After ending the call, Mackenzie poured more wine into our glasses. Mother video called me 3 times today. She wants me to move the Project Legacy announcement to the beginning of the live stream instead of after dinner. She's rushing it. Trying to get ahead of any potential data leaks, Nathan said, still typing. She knows someone's accessing her files. My phone lit up with a notification. Caleb was calling. I showed the screen to Mackenzie. Don't answer, she warned. He's been monitoring my online activity. Yesterday he tried to access my cloud storage while I was sleeping. We need to move faster. I pulled up our encrypted evidence folder. Hazel's digital backups would be the final piece. Once we had those, a knock at my door made us all freeze. Through my apartment's smart doorbell camera, I saw Mother standing there, perfectly coiffed despite the late hour. Places, everyone, I whispered. Nathan grabbed his laptop and slipped into my home office while Mackenzie quickly hid our evidence drives under my couch cushions. I opened the door. Mother. It's almost midnight. Can't a mother check on her daughters? She swept in, her sharp eyes taking in the wine glasses and Mackenzie's presence, then scanning my array of monitors. A little late for a social call, isn't it? Wedding live stream planning? Mackenzie said smoothly, I needed sister time. The social media pressure is getting to me. Mother's smile didn't reach her eyes. How sweet. Though I hope these sisterly bonding sessions aren't distracting you from your announcement preparation. Actually, I interjected, minimizing windows on my screens. I've been helping her practice. Want to hear it? Mother's laugh was like breaking glass. Darling, no offense, but public speaking has never been your strong suit. Remember your high school graduation? That awkward valedictorian speech that barely got any views? Mackenzie stood up. Mother, stop it. Evelyn's been incredibly helpful with the technical aspects. Has she? Mother's gaze swept the room, lingering on my hastily darkened monitors. And what else has your sister been helping with? The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Before anyone could respond, a notification sound came from my home office, Nathan's signal that he'd finished wiping his browser history. Mother's eyes narrowed. Do you have company? Just me, Nathan emerged, the picture of casual innocence. Late-night database consultation. You know how it is with analytics deadlines. Indeed, Mother's voice could have frozen the internet. Evelyn, darling, a word in private. She led me to the kitchen, her manicured nails digging into my arm. Whatever digital trail you think you're following, stop it now. I don't know what you mean. Don't play dumb. It doesn't suit your data analyst persona. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You've always been the clever one, haven't you? Hidden behind your screens, watching, analyzing. But this time you're out of your depth in the digital world. Am I? The foundation is my life's work. I won't let anyone's cyber investigation destroy that. Not even yours. Her smile turned predatory. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? The server access logs, the encrypted files. My heart stopped. Mother. I'm moving the announcement to tomorrow night, she released my arm. A private preview event. Just key stakeholders and family. No public live stream, no social media, no digital footprints. That's not the plan. Mackenzie protested from the doorway. Plans change, darling. Be ready at 7. Mother headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Evelyn, I've suspended your department's network access pending a security review. Of course, we can't be too careful with our digital assets. After she left, we all stared at each other in shocked silence. She knows, Nathan said, emerging from the home office. She's cutting off our access. Not yet. I pulled out my phone, opening our secure messaging app. Hazel, change of plans. We need those files tonight. The security protocols. I don't care anymore. Mackenzie was already grabbing her coat. I'll create a distraction at the foundation, say I need to practice in the event space. I'll handle the back-end systems, Nathan added. If she's locked down the main servers, there might still be a backdoor through the backup drives. My phone buzzed with a text from Caleb. Whatever digital trace you're following, drop it. Some things are bigger than family. He's right, I said, showing them the message. This is bigger than family. That's exactly why we have to expose their digital fraud. The Foundation's preview event buzzed with nervous energy. Board members mingled with investors, their smartphones and tablets glowing like fireflies in the dimmed lighting. Mother held court near the podium, resplendent in midnight blue, while Caleb hovered nearby, constantly checking his security alerts. Stop fidgeting with your tablet, Mother hissed as I passed. And for heaven's sake, fix your hair. The photographers will be here soon. I touched the encrypted drive hidden in my clutch, remembering last night's frantic data extraction. The files were devastating. Mother had no idea we'd managed to breach her security just hours before her system purge. 5 minutes until the announcement, Caleb announced, his voice carrying across the room. Everyone, please take your seats and silence your devices. Mackenzie appeared at my elbow, looking stunning in emerald green. Ready, she whispered. Hazel's in position, mirroring everything to our secure cloud storage. She squeezed my hand. Once this live stream starts, there's no stopping it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mother took the stage, practically glowing under the professional lighting. Thank you all for joining us on such short notice. Tonight marks a new chapter in our Foundation's digital future. I slipped away toward the AV control room while she spoke, my heart thundering. Nathan was already there, pretending to adjust streaming settings. All cameras are live, he whispered. Every board member just received an anonymous email link. They're all watching our private stream on their devices. And the backup's running, even if they cut the main feed, everything's being recorded to our offsite servers. Mother's voice filled the room through the speakers. And now, I'm thrilled to introduce my daughter, Mackenzie, who will share our vision for Project Legacy. Applause erupted as Mackenzie took the stage. She looked perfectly poised, exactly as Mother had trained her to be. But I saw her hands trembling as she gripped the podium. Thank you, Mother. Mackenzie's voice was clear and strong. Before I begin, I'd like to share something personal about our digital transformation. Mother's smile flickered. This wasn't in her scripted social media plan. All my life, I've been the face of this Foundation's digital presence, Mackenzie continued, her voice steady despite Mother's warning glare. The perfect daughter, the charitable influencer, the cover story. But tonight, I'm choosing to be something else, honest. Caleb started moving toward the stage. I nodded to Nathan, who activated our prepared presentation. The screens behind Mackenzie lit up with financial records, email chains, cryptocurrency transactions. Project Legacy isn't about charity, Mackenzie continued as gasps filled the room. It's about digital fraud, corruption, stealing from the sick and desperate to line private cryptocurrency wallets. That's enough. Mother's voice cracked like a whip. Security. Cut the stream. I stepped onto the stage beside my sister. The evidence has already been uploaded to the FBI's servers, I announced. And Hazel is broadcasting this live to every major news outlet. The room erupted in chaos. Board members jumped to their feet, phones recording everything. Caleb tried to reach the AV control room, but Nathan had locked down the systems. "You ungrateful little," Mother lunged for the podium, but Mackenzie stood her ground. $300,000 from the Cancer Research Fund, Mackenzie read from the screen, $500,000 from pediatric studies, all laundered through Caleb's investment firm into offshore crypto accounts. "You have no idea what you're doing," Mother snarled. "The people we answer to will all be investigated," I finished. "Every shell company, every fake grant, every donor who helped you steal from sick children through your digital fraud scheme." Caleb finally reached the stage. "Victoria, we need to shut this down now." But Mother wasn't finished. She grabbed the microphone. "Everything I did was for this foundation, for our family's digital legacy." "No." Mackenzie's voice cut through the chaos. "It was for you, always for you, using my social media influence as your perfect distraction while you rob the people we promised to help." Security guards appeared at the doors, but they weren't Mother's usual team. Hazel had called in the real police. "Victoria Winters." An officer approached the stage. "We need you to come with us." The look Mother gave me could have crashed 1,000 servers. "I gave you everything, both of you. This is how you repay me?" "You gave us lessons in manipulation and digital deception," I said. "Consider this our final system upgrade." As they led Mother and Caleb away, the board members crowded around us, their devices still recording, questions flying from all directions. Through it all, Mackenzie held my hand, both of us standing tall under the glare of camera flashes and screen lights. "Miss Winters." A reporter had somehow gotten past security. "What happens to the Foundation's digital presence now?" I looked at Mackenzie, who nodded. "We start over," I said, transparently, honestly, the way it always should have been. "And Project Legacy," someone called out. "Will be exactly what it claims to be," Mackenzie answered, her voice strong. "A fresh start, a true legacy of helping others, not exploiting them." As the chaos continued around us, Nathan appeared at my side, his laptop showing confirmation of our secure backups. "You did it." "We did it," I corrected, watching Mother's perfect digital empire crumble. "All of us." The police station buzzed with activity as Mother sat across from us, her designer outfit wrinkled from hours in holding. Her makeup had smeared, but her eyes remained sharp as encrypted data. "You've made your point," she said coldly. "Now delete the evidence." Mackenzie laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Delete the evidence?" "The FBI has already seized the Foundation's servers." Caleb's trading information for a lighter sentence. "It's over, Mother. Your digital house of cards has fallen." Mother leaned forward. "Do you have any idea how many networks you've disrupted? The connections you've severed? The donors." "The donors are cooperating with the investigation," I cut in. "Turns out nobody wants their IP address connected to a charity fraud scandal." The detective entered, placing a thick file of printed evidence on the table. "Mrs. Winters, we found additional cryptocurrency wallets in the Cayman Islands. Care to explain?" Mother's lawyer touched her arm. "My client exercises her right to remain silent." "That's a first," Mackenzie muttered, closing her social media apps. Through the glass windows, I could see reporters camped outside the building, their cameras and phones ready to capture any new developments in the scandal that had rocked the city's philanthropic tech community. "Miss Winters," the detective addressed me, "we'll need your complete digital forensics report about when you first discovered the discrepancies." For the next 2 hours, I walked them through everything, the missing research funds, the shell companies, the cryptocurrency transactions. Mackenzie added her own testimony about Caleb's involvement and the planned announcement. "Your mother's looking at serious federal cybercrime charges," the detective said finally. "Both of them are." The amount of money involved, the sophisticated nature of the scheme, were talking significant time. Nathan was waiting outside the interview room. "The board's called an emergency meeting. They want you both there now." Mackenzie checked her phone. It's almost midnight. Damage control doesn't sleep, especially not in the digital age. The Foundation's offices were eerily quiet as we rode the elevator to the boardroom. Hazel met us at the door, her tablet clutched to her chest, her eyes red from crying. "They've been in there for hours," she whispered, trying to salvage what's left of our digital infrastructure. Inside, the board members looked shell-shocked, their devices displaying real-time news coverage of the scandal. The chairman, an elderly man who'd known our father, spoke first. "Ladies, please sit down." He shuffled some papers, actual papers, as if he'd lost faith in digital records. "We've spent the evening assessing the situation. The Foundation's online reputation is salvageable," I interrupted, pulling up my data analytics dashboard. "If we act fast and with complete transparency." "The media is calling it the legacy virus," another board member said. "Our online donors are fleeing." Mackenzie straightened in her chair. "Then let me talk to them. I've been the face of this foundation's social media for years. Let me tell them the truth, that we discovered the corruption and chose to expose it ourselves." "It's not that simple," one board member protested, scrolling through news alerts on his tablet. "Actually, it is." I connected my laptop to the room's display. "I've drafted a complete digital transformation plan, new blockchain-based oversight measures, transparent accounting, direct tracking between donors and the research they fund. Everything visible, everything traceable." The board members exchanged looks across their glowing screens. "We need new leadership," the chairman said slowly, "someone who understands both the technical and public aspects of our mission." I felt Mackenzie squeeze my hand under the table. "We'd like to offer you both positions," he continued. "Evelyn, as Executive Director of Technology and Compliance. Mackenzie, as Director of Public Relations and Digital Strategy. Together." "Together?" Mackenzie asked, her phone forgotten in her hand. "Your actions, while shocking, showed integrity. Something this foundation desperately needs to rebuild in the digital age." As we left the building hours later, the sky was starting to lighten. Reporters immediately swarmed us, cameras and microphones thrust forward. "Miss Winters, how does it feel to expose your own mother's digital fraud? What's next for the Foundation's online presence?" Mackenzie stepped forward, every inch the polished spokesperson, but this time with genuine authority in her voice. "The Foundation is entering a new era of transparency and authentic charitable work. My sister and I look forward to leading that change." "Miss Winters." More voices called from the media crowd as we saw Caleb being led out of the federal building, his designer suit wrinkled, his smartphone confiscated. "Will there be more arrests?" I stepped up beside Mackenzie. "The Foundation's future isn't about the past," I said firmly. "It's about the researchers working to save lives, the patients waiting for breakthroughs, and the donors who genuinely want to help. That's the only story that matters now." Nathan appeared with his car, offering escape from the media frenzy. As we drove away, Mackenzie finally broke down. "I loved him," she whispered, deleting Caleb's contact from her phone. "Or thought I did. How did we not see through their digital facade?" "We saw what they wanted us to see," I replied, watching the city wake up through the car window. "Just like everyone else online." The board meeting tomorrow, I started. Today, Nathan corrected, glancing at the dawn breaking over the city's skyline. Today, Mackenzie agreed. We start rebuilding everything they corrupted. I thought about Mother sitting in her cell, probably already planning her next digital scheme, about all the years she'd spent teaching us to maintain perfect online appearances while hiding ugly truths. We're not rebuilding their foundation, I said, pulling up our new security protocols on my tablet. We're building our own. The right way, this time. Guilty on all counts, the judge's voice echoed through the courtroom. Mother stood perfectly straight, her designer suit a stark contrast to the handcuffs at her wrists. She didn't look at us as they led her away. Caleb had already taken his plea deal, trading information for a lighter sentence, but Mother had insisted on fighting, convinced until the end that she could manipulate her way out of anything. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us again. This time, we were ready. The verdict sends a clear message, I said into the forest of microphones and cameras. No one is above accountability. Not even family. Miss Winters, the Foundation's new digital research initiative has already raised millions. Was this your response to your mother's crimes? Mackenzie stepped forward, her social media influence now used for genuine good. Every dollar stolen from sick children will be repaid threefold. That's our promise. Back at the Foundation, Hazel had arranged a staff meeting. The boardroom was packed, researchers, developers, grant coordinators, all waiting to hear what came next. Their tablets and laptops glowed with anticipation. The trial's over, I announced. Now we focus on what matters, the work. Dr. Reynolds' cancer study needs additional server capacity, someone called out. Approved, Mackenzie said, checking her tablet. Along with the stem cell research team and the rare disease initiative. All funding streams are now publicly traceable. But the infrastructure budget is solid, I assured them. Every donation is now tracked in real time on our public blockchain. Donors can see exactly where their money goes, down to the last cent. After the meeting, Nathan found me in my office. You haven't opened it yet. He nodded at the encrypted email on my screen. Mother's last attempt to communicate before sentencing. Nothing she says can change anything. Maybe not, but you might need to read it anyway. I opened the email. Mother's words were as precise as her code. Evelyn, you think you've won? Perhaps you have. But everything I did was to secure our position, our influence. You'll understand someday when the weight of digital legacy bears down on you. Power requires sacrifice. Remember that. Mother Mackenzie appeared in my doorway as I deleted the email. Still trying to justify herself? Still trying to teach her lessons about power and control, I said, pulling up our latest transparency report. Speaking of which, the university called. They want us to give a guest lecture on ethical leadership in the digital age. Us? Mackenzie laughed. I'm not exactly professor material. No, you're better. You're living proof that people can choose integrity over influence. The intercom buzzed. Hazel's voice carried through. The governor's here for the system audit. We walked together through the Foundation's halls, now bright with literal and digital transparency. Glass walls had replaced solid ones, and interactive displays showed real-time grant activities and research progress. The governor waited in the lobby, surrounded by aides. Impressive changes, he said, gesturing at the screens. Very modern. Would you like to meet some of our researchers? I offered. Dr. Reynolds is about to test a promising new treatment protocol. Actually, he cleared his throat. I was hoping to discuss the Foundation's political connections. Your mother had certain arrangements. Those arrangements died with the old system, Mackenzie cut in smoothly. But we'd love to show you how your state's medical research grants are advancing critical studies. Mother had taught us well about handling powerful people, just not the way she'd intended. Our new legacy would be built on something stronger than deception, truth, transparency, and the courage to maintain both in the digital age. So, Nathan called from behind us, checking his security alerts about that system audit. I exchanged looks with Mackenzie. We both smiled. Another challenge, another day. But this time we were fighting for something real, and that made all the difference.